Thank you, Ignite Chicago, for having me. Now, from a young age, I knew I was an aspiring polymath and wanted to do many different things in life. It is our very nature, after all, to be multidisciplinary and polymathic. By the end of this talk, you'll know where you are on the multidisciplinary spectrum and see that you might be more polymathic than you originally thought. Jack of all trades, master of none. Many of you know this phrase, but did you know that's only half of it? The full saying goes, Jack of all trades, master of none, but also sometimes better than a master of one. When you look at it fully, then the specialized society that we live in starts to look a little bit different. What does it mean for us then for people who have many different skills if we're pushed into specializing? Well, the author Robert Heinlein says specialization is for insects. Now, I do think there's a need for specialists in the world, but oftentimes these people look at things from a limited lens and point of view. So let me ask you a question. How many of you know what a polymath is? Well, the definition goes like this. A polymath is an individual whose knowledge spans a great number of subjects, drawing on complex bodies of knowledge to solve problems. People, however, think that the term jack of all trades is similar, and when you spread yourself too thin, then you can't pursue anything deeply. I empathize with this because people have lived in a specialist society for so long, it is all people know or think about. However, over time, with practice, you can become a master at many things. You are a person with the potential to do many different things, so why hold yourself back? We're curious, and people realize from a young age that their curiosity drives them to words like polymath and multipotentialite. They gravitate towards them. They are meanings of identification to who they are. One of the most thought-provoking ideas is that we've had polymaths all throughout time. And we either are ashamed, didn't know, or gave up on our potential. I actually interview people like this, and I find that they're multidisciplinary and try to exemplify those diverse traits and skills. Leonardo da Vinci was indeed an all-rounder. He made several contributions to science and art that are still relevant to 600 years later. It is people like him that lead us to where we are now. I ask you then, like I ask my guests, what is a polymath to you? To me, it is challenging a norm, I'd say, and avoiding stagnancy. It is human nature to be polymathic, and so the idea is simple. You dabble in many areas, and then you master them. I created this spectrum with the purpose of making the world of polymathy to be more inclusive. This is a preconceived level of achievement in our heads that we think we need to have to be polymaths. Everyone has a job or hobby where you've had to, in turn, learn how to do. Multiply that by how much time you spent learning it. They say that you need 10,000 hours to master something. And that's been proven to a point, but in actuality, it could be 8 to 12,000, depending on how you learn, deliberate practice, or integrating knowledge with trans-contextual thinking, and the meaning bringing places together and ideas together. This is a mock-up of how I imagine the spectrum to be. Now, depending on your knowledge and areas of knowledge, you may find yourself on one of these monikers. In the end, some of it's just semantics, but for the most part, it could help you in your life journey to know what kind of person you are. To identify where you are in the spectrum, take note of what you know, what new skills you could learn, and find their connections. And most of all, indulge in your curiosity. So, I believe that polymaths are the future of success for humanity. This is a bold statement to make, but I truly believe it to be true. These are a few books to help you get started. Range by David Epstein, The Polymath by Waqas Ahmed, and In Pursuit of Polymaths by Dr. Angela Catalesa, who happens to be a researcher in the field. In the workplace as well, polymaths and multipotentialites are more likely to see the connections between departments, and they will incorporate systematic thinking as well as create new innovations as entrepreneurs for the business. In addition to the workplace, we also have researchers in the field, and there's some brilliant minds in the research space, all of whom are trying to identify characteristics of what makes a polymath and how creativity plays into it, and many other facets of living multidisciplinary. And don't worry, for this next quote that's coming up, I'm going to be reading over it. So Dr. Patrick Roberts from the Max Planck Institute for Science of Human History suggests that the traditional ecological dichotomy exists between generalists, who can make use of a variety of different environments and different resources, and specialists, who have a limited diet and narrow environmental tolerance. So if there's only one thing you take away from this presentation, it is this. Not only is it in our nature to be multidisciplinary and curious and overall generalist, but that as a species we could achieve exponentially greater future if we realized our potential. So I encourage you to go check out Ignite's YouTube channel and other talks. But polymaths have been here for all history, and we're here to stay. The sooner people realize their multidisciplinary potential, then the quicker we'll advance the human race. Thank you.